Hi, everyone, and welcome to every episode of VeggieTales Reviewed. I'm that media guy, and I'm here to answer your questions about the quality of talking Christian vegetable television. Today, we have the subject of Episode 7, A Very Silly Sing Along, or Very Silly Songs as it would be known for later releases. So, this is going to be an interesting episode for me to review. Not that the idea of a song compilation was unique for the time period that this came out in. Before we had the convenience of using YouTube to look up whatever song or any clip in general of a particular show that we wanted to see, these home media releases were the only way that we could see the best from the shows that we loved, short of buying every single episode individually, and these episodes sold for 15 bucks a pop at the time. Considering that the content on this sing-along video comes from 5 other episodes, 5 times 15 equals 75 bucks on these videos in the mid 90s, or around 150 bucks today, and people are saying that it's too much money to pay for multiple streaming services nowadays. But seriously, these kinds of videos were a super convenient way to sample the best of shows in the 20th century, and I do mean the absolute best in this case. Say what you will about the characters or the comedy, but for me, the music is the element of the show that makes VeggieTales, the show where talking vegetables tell Bible stories, truly worthwhile for all viewers, not just kids and Christian families. It really is that strong. So that means that I can certify this episode fresh right now and move on to the next one, right? Well, I don't think that it's quite that simple. You see, if I was a consumer in the mid 90s that really wanted to get nothing but the absolute bops that VeggieTales has to offer, I would have just bought VeggieTunes. Not only would it have been cheaper than the video, or at least I would assume that a music CD would have been cheaper than a video cassette, but it is something that I could have taken with me anywhere, rather it be in the car with my stereo or in my portable CD player with my headphones. And yeah, you are missing out on the animation that comes with the songs on the video, but at the end of the day, that just amounts to multiple music videos, and when it comes to songs, most people agree that well, song aspect of the songs is more important than the video aspect. So, while the bulk of the content here is fantastic, you can't just expect to reuse the same content and get an A plus every time, especially when the recycled content is better enjoyed in another fashion. Besides, since this content is from previous episodes of the show, that means that I have already reviewed this content. So if you want to know my thoughts on it, go watch my previous reviews, shameless plug. So now, you might be wondering, how am I going to review this episode while avoiding the stuff that I've already reviewed before when this episode was designed to reuse older content? Well, you see, this episode is more than just older content. If the Very Veggie Christmas album is anything to go by, then it seems to be standard practice for Big Idea to insert vignettes in between music numbers around this time. It does sound like a good idea in how it gives extra entertainment to viewers and listeners, but it can also be a detriment to the pacing of the episode if the extra scenes are not entertaining. So, are the scenes made for this episode entertaining enough to make them worthwhile additions to the episode? Well, for me at least, the answer is a resounding yes. They work in spades because of one key element in play here, or maybe out of play would be a better way to describe it. You see, you might have realized that with content pulled from 5 previous episodes, it is going to be difficult to string all of that together cohesively in order to effectively deliver a religious message to be applied in day-to-day life. So, in the case of this episode, they didn't even bother, hence the lack of a QWERTY with a Bible verse on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The songs are good enough to stand on their own right, so the extra scenes only have to focus on what VeggieTales does best outside of teach messages and play amazing songs. Be silly entertainment. Allow me to highlight the plot synopsis in the upper left-hand corner. This is indeed a sing-along video, but Larry believes that it is a workout video, home improvement video, and success video, and leave it to Larry the Cucumber to try to put on those kinds of videos in the way that only he can. I really don't want to give away any more than that because that would be spoiling it for you all who have not seen it yet. That quote on the right should give you a good idea of what to expect from this. And besides, it's not like there isn't other stuff to talk about. After all, since I drew your attention to that part of the screen, you probably noticed the new song for this episode. And, despite what I just said, I'm having a hard time thinking of stuff to say about it. I mean, this song brought about characters that ended up getting their own movie and prominently starred in another movie. It might not be quite as iconic as the Hairbrush song, but it has the most iconic characters to ever come out of Silly Songs with Larry. But in case you don't know, the pirates consist of Larry, Paw Grape, and Mr. Lunt. Really, this should not work out as well as it does, considering that it consists of three goofs of varying silliness with no straight man to balance them out. But thanks to the brilliant writing and impeccable voice work of Phil Vischer and Mike Naraki, this not only works as a great song in and of itself, as you will be hard pressed to find anyone who dislikes something resembling a sea shanty, but it also works as truly hilarious entertainment. Seriously, if you don't at least smile at the Captain Crunch bit, I am convinced that you are a true stick in the mud who always did what they were told and ate 4 servings of vegetables a day. How dare you do that to Bob and Larry? But believe it or not, there is another song beyond this one that is also new for this video. Well, kind of. You see, this video includes a new and improved version of Rack Shack and Benny's Bunny Song. What was the Bunny Song? Well, if you'll allow me to insert the clip from my previous review, you'll see that it was the song that they were not supposed to sing because they disagreed with the content of the lyrics endorsing devotion of their entire lives to the chocolate bunny. The song is really catchy though, so it's something that's really rotten hidden inside a really beautiful exterior, just like everything in real life. In fact, it was so catchy that kids were singing it, embarrassing their parents to the point where the song had to be changed multiple times to make it more appropriate. Not gonna lie, that's actually really funny. Well, at least it's funny for me, a fan of the show, but for the creators of the show, they really took this to heart. They wanted kids to glorify God through their songs, and so they attempted to do just that with this new version of the song, featuring lyrics that show that worshipping the bunny is bad because chocolate makes you sick if you eat too much of it. A message much more in line with what VeggieTales tries to teach, and thus appropriate for kids to sing. Although, in my opinion, the bunny song was the weakest song of the episode, but that's not saying too much since that episode might just have the best music of all of the episodes that we have looked at so far. So, did this succeed in getting kids to not sing the bad version of the song? Well, apparently not, as they had to release a third version of the song with less bad lyrics in order to find the appropriate middle ground. But no matter which version of the song you choose, the tune is still the same, so if that is the reason why you love the bunny song, that is still intact in all versions. And that's it as far as the new stuff that this video brings to the table. Well, other than displaying the words on the bottom of the screen as they are being sung. Does anyone actually find this to be helpful? I'm not saying that it's a bad addition, just not one that I ever really got any use out of. But that's probably because I listened to these songs so many times when I was so young that the lyrics to these tunes were all ingrained in my brain so long ago. And that's a very silly sing-along. I know I said that Dave and the Giant Pickle felt like a victory lap, but this is the true victory lap, and what a well-earned one. Really, if this was a bare-bones song compilation, there would have hardly been anything to complain about, but Big Idea took the high road and gave us something that makes it well worth it for those who already own all of the other videos. The vignettes are hilarious, the new bunny song is inspiring in how it displayed Big Idea's feelings towards concerned parents, and the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything is the poster child for the excellence and brilliance that VeggieTales Entertainment could deliver. I am honestly struggling to find anything to criticize here. The one point that I guess I could see some people complaining about is how this episode doesn't feel like VeggieTales and that it doesn't have a lesson to teach to kids, outside of the messages that are in the songs that are pulled from previous videos, as well as the new and improved bunny song, I guess. Although that probably wouldn't exist if kids weren't doing what they were supposed to avoid doing in singing the original version of the song. And this brings up the debate on whether or not entertainment, even entertainment that is explicitly religious like VeggieTales is, should always have a point. I do have thoughts on that, but I'm going to put a pin in that for the moment, as there is an episode coming up where I believe that talking about that would be more applicable. So for now, I'll just say that Big Idea was a business, and businesses are in, well, business in order to make money. That's just the facts, and making a video that is largely just a compilation of previous content with no negative truth that strings everything together is a quick and easy way to bring in the dough. And I'm sure that some people will just say that, well, if Big Idea thought that Christianity is something that everyone should be exposed to, then why didn't they just release VeggieTales for free? Didn't VeggieTales make a point in their previous episode that big business is opposed to the ideals of Christianity? And to that I say, how would VeggieTales have done that in 1997? In 2023, we have YouTube where we can watch videos for free, and to Big Idea's credit, they have been releasing full episodes of VeggieTales on their YouTube channel for free. But in 1997, if you wanted a video, you had to go to the store and buy it or pay for it to be shipped to you. And if it still bothers you that it was $15 for 30 minutes of content, Keep in mind that more money for Big Idea means more money for marketing, which means more people are exposed to VeggieTales, which is probably what you want. So, in that regard, I think that selling a VeggieTales compilation of older content with no lessons stringing everything together at a price of $14.95 is morally and ethically sound. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on that, since I wanted to get that out there and I figured that this would be the ideal place to do that, especially since the review would be much shorter than my other reviews so far due to the episode being much shorter than all of the other episodes of VeggieTales up to this point in terms of new content. So, getting back on track, of course this episode is certified fresh. A Very Silly Sing-Along is not only very entertaining, but it might just have been the spark that ignited the lightning in the bottle that was late 90s Vegemania, and I cannot wait to talk about this series at its peak. This has been the 7th episode of every episode of VeggieTales Reviewed, where my goal is to review the entirety of the series designed to let everyone know that God made them special and he loves them very much. Tune in next time to hear me talk about Episode 8, Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space. Until then, thank you so much for watching, click the red button to subscribe, and have a fantastic rest of your day doing whatever.